Now, the 911-4 GTS is basically like a Turbo S without breaking the bank. Still gives you four-wheel drive, and it still gives you a turbocharged engine. Now on this channel, I've driven quite a range of 911 models, including the 992 generation, such as the Turbo S, 2 GTS and a GT3 Touring. So where does this one fit in? Well, let's find out. I'm Max Davani. Welcome to Driven Plus. Now, because I've driven quite a few 911s, I've made my mind up on which one I'd rather. It's the GT3 Touring. However, I'm fully aware that that car is not very good for your everyday needs. If I was to have one car, it wouldn't be that. But this 911 Carrera 4 GTS does really make you question, why do you need anything else? You've got four-wheel drive as well, so for days like today where conditions aren't really the best, it's not frightening. You put your foot down, it does it. It doesn't question itself. It's instant. I like it. Porsches are just ace as well. Honestly, they're so good to drive. They're so dynamic. Porsche know how to get to the heart of a car enthusiast. But the only thing I will say, after recently driving a GT3 Touring, the only thing I am missing is the double wishbone suspension. But handling on this car is superb as a whole anyway. But the PDK gearbox as well, under slow driving, it's really nice. You put your foot down. It's so snappy, it's so responsive as well. But let's take a look at the engine somewhere. Well, for what you can take a look at, this is a 911, remember. But let's cut to a scene of me standing next to the engine. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing. You can't really see the engine, but I've noticed one flaw. If you go to attempt to open this, it traps your hands and it hurts. So there we are, whatever you can see. It's a 3-litre flat six turbocharged engine, the same one you find in the Carrera S, but it's been tuned up and it now produces 480 horsepower and 570 Newton meters of torque with a top speed of 192 miles per hour. Now at the start of the video, I mentioned this being some sort of mini Turbo S. Now it's quite down on power compared to a Turbo S, but 0 to 60 time is still really impressive of Porsche 3.3 seconds. So let's see. Okay, so let's launch the Porsche 911-4 GTS. Now on your screen now are the stats and figures on this car, so pause your screen if you want to look into them. Now I don't know how close we're going to get to the 3.3 seconds claim time because it's quite greasy outside, so we're going to launch it with the traction on first and see what we get. And I have my specialist timer gear, Racebox Pro, and that's going to help me tell me what time I'm going to get. So let's go. Oh, they hooked up. 3.4 seconds. Oh, that's really well. That's really, really good. I mean, it did break traction a little bit when it was changing gear. So let's try run number 2. The beauty about these 911s is that I'll just launch all day, every day, and they won't sweat. So let's try traction. Yeah, let's try half off if it'll do it. There we go. Here we go. .37. Oh, should we go for a third run? I'd like to beat 3.3. It's breaking traction a little bit. Do I go for run number 3? I'm sure Roger won't mind. I'm sure he'll want me to beat 3.3 seconds. So let's go for run number 3. Last and final run. Come on, Porsche. 3.3 seconds in the wet. It's doing what Porsche says in the wet. That's incredible. Thank you, Porsche, and thank you, what are you called? Carrera 4 GTS and all the numbers that come after it. Back to the review. Now when we come on to the front design of the car, starting with these front wheels here. Now these are 20-inch, on the rear is 21, so it's a staggered wheel setup. You've got the centre locks there as well. This is not fitted with carbon ceramic brakes, but it's fitted with the steels, and I like the red calipers. It works well with the exterior paint colour of this car, which is of course the beautiful shark blue. And it's the design which has been based off sort of 60 years. You cannot fault the design. How traditional is it? And when we look into the front boot, when I can open it, here we go, 132 litres of boot space. And like all 911s, when you've filled that up, you've also got the rear seats as well. And it's very practical. Now, even all the 911 configurations that are out there, this is something that's going to confuse you even more. Now, the 911 Carrera 4 GTS is the coupe version, which is this version, but the 911 4 GTS is a Targa version of this car. Yes, it's very confusing. I'm starting to get there with all the 911 configurations, but the Targa version is incredibly beautiful. But I have to say, the Carrera 4 GTS, the coupe version, especially with the wing, how beautiful is this car? Come on, especially with the shark blue. Now, like any Porsche, one thing which is apparent is the build quality. And even the owner said to me this morning, he said, I've had Aston Martin Vantage, McLaren GT. One thing which stands out in this is just how well built it is. And I'll agree with him. Everything is just solid. Even this lovely brushed aluminium trim here is just very nice. It's very, very premium. And this leather as well. It's just solid. And the leathers, Alcantara, lovely glove box there, and not much of a space. You've got a cup holder there, little gear stick toggle, which I'm not a massive fan of. I like them to be a little bit bigger as well, but it just feels awesome. That sounds premium as well. The paddles as well, and there's touch screen. You've got Apple CarPlay, and you've got a bit of a digital driver's display as well. However, in the middle is a good old analog clock, and of course, in the middle, on the new GTS, it's all changed to digital now, and the new GTS is of course hybrid. This is now the previous generation. Now, these comfort seats are comfortable, does what it says on the tin. What about the glove box? That's a pretty decent size as well, and you also got a panoramic sunroof as well to let more natural light in. What a place to be. Got all the drive modes on your steering wheel there. It's a Porsche. It's a great place to be. Yeah. Now, when we come onto the rear, what a stance this thing has, especially with the wing. That just adds to everything. The wing makes everything better on the 911. You've got this beautiful light bar going around the car, and I think the light bar looks good anyhow, but I think it works even better with the exterior colour of this car, which of course, shark blue. Now, driver in the car, can you please rev the car in normal mode? Okay, put it in sport, try again. Ooh, okay, time to get back on the road. Now let's compare this car to my M4 CS for a minute, and I think it's a worthy comparison because my M4 CS's gearbox under low speeds is very jerky. It's not the best, especially compared to this. But when you put your foot down, that comes into its own, and it's very good, it's very responsive. This incorporates both. It's very good at under low speeds, town driving, it's very smooth, but when you put your foot down, or when we play with the paddle, should we say, your third gear, it just changes. It's like, it's crisp, it's snappy. It's like, yeah, I'll change gear for you in a split second. Now, compared to the 2 GTS, which I recently reviewed, what are the differences? Well, firstly, the 2 GTS is rear-wheel drive, and that was a manual as well. This is, of course, four-wheel drive, and it's got the PDK gearbox as well. So it's a heavier car by around 50 kilos. Have I felt that? I can't feel the 50 kilos difference, but the conditions are different. It's a wet day today. When I reviewed the 2 GTS, it was glorious. On a track, I think you'd feel the difference on the front end, but under normal road conditions, this makes more sense. But this car hasn't really been designed for the track. I mean, fundamentally, it's going to be good on a track anyway because it's a 911. But you buy this because you value fast road driving and the occasional track day here and there. And that's where the 4 GTS fits in. Good for fast road driving all year round, and throw in the occasional track day. And you know what, I'm sat in here and I'm thinking, why do you really need to spend the extra money to get in a Turbo S or Turbo or even GT3? What else do you possibly need than this? For every aspect of driving, this covers everything. You know, the engine is pokey as well, and it pulls well, and it sounds good as well. I think these cars definitely do sound better inside the cabin than they do on the exterior, as you can now hear. And it's clinical the way it delivers the power as well. Because it's four-wheel drive, you plant your right foot, it's wet outside as well, and it's delivering the power. There's no delay, it's instant. It's so clinical, this car. And you do have some different driving modes to choose from as well, like all Porsches. But on this one, you get your normal Sport, Sport Plus, Individual, but you've also got Wet. So it's wet outside, I'm now driving in wet mode. good's that, eh? And the thing is, let's properly drive this car. Put it in manual. Let's put it in sport. Let's play with the PDK gearbox. Oh, the downshift. Oh. That's what I mean. It's wet outside and it's still putting a smile on my face. You can still have fun. The power's usable. It's not like over the top Turbo S or GT3 going all to the rear wheels. It's to send all to the four wheels and I'm still putting 100% of its power down. This is probably the best British 911 you can buy, well, for British roads. Yeah. And this also comes with four-wheel steering as well. So say for instance you drive around town or you wanted to park your car, it really does come in handy, but it also helps under high speeds as well. It just becomes more agile than say a 991 generation car. You can just chuck it around that ever bit more and it handles superb. Oh, the noise, the downshift, and I love the fact that after you apply throttle, you've got that turbo noise there. It sounds awesome. But I'd like to say a huge thanks to Roger for letting me get a review on this beautiful 911 Carrera 4 GTS in shark blue, and it's another 911 which I've added to the list, which I've driven. So I really do appreciate it, Roger. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And for those watching, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in, and hope you leave a like on the video. Subscribe to our channel for more of this content, and we'll see you soon. Let me know what you think of this car, whether you think it's the perfect 911 for Britain. So let me know, and if not, let me know which one is the perfect car. So cheers guys, see you later, cheers.